your Jeep sounds like this one does, then more than likely you got a pretty nasty exhaust leak coming from somewhere in the exhaust system, and the most likely area is going to be the exhaust manifold gasket or the manifold itself. Now these are pretty notorious for cracking and breaking. This one sounds like it's pretty bad. More than likely I think it might be the gasket. As you can tell, there are several areas around the manifold gasket that you can see some burn spots, like it's definitely leaking through. See these little burn spots? Those are kind of signs that the manifold is leaking through and causing this little black soot right there. So this one sounds pretty bad. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the spark plug wires off the spark plugs. I'm also gonna spray some liquid wrench here on these two bolts here so we can undo those, and we'll take the header off and inspect the gasket and inspect the actual manifold itself. Make sure there's no cracks behind these shields here. They like to crack behind the shields also. So I do have new gaskets coming on the way from Amazon, and yeah, hopefully by the time we get these off, Amazon will be delivering our packages. So I'm breaking loose basically the 10 millimeters that hold the header to the block, and it took no force to break them loose. They're basically like hand tight. They're really loose, which is probably causing the extreme exhaust leak. And when I picked this up from the previous owner, he did mention that he just had it repaired, or took it to a repair shop not too long ago, and they basically just tightened up the bolt, and it worked for a little bit, but eventually started making even louder noises. So those are pretty loose. Now I just took this one off. This is one of the bolts that hold the header to the downpipe here, and from the bottom, these are 18 millimeters. These were also pretty loose as well. I mean, they didn't take much to break them loose. Now, for whatever reason, it's got 3 washers on here. Well, 2 washers and 1 lock washer, but the lock washer is completely crushed. Not sure that's supposed to come with that, or they are or not, but anyways, it's got 3 on there for whatever reason. I'm about to remove the other one. That one's pretty loose as well. So underneath the vehicle, I got like a, I don't know, 8-inch extension and a 6-inch extension on the deep socket 18 millimeters. Like I said, it's basically coming loose or undone by hand. Like, it's not taking much effort at all, and it is. Alright, last and final bolt. Got all the exhaust manifold bolts off of there. Should better pull this out of here. Yeah. Can inspect this. And definitely showing signs of some exhaust leaks for sure. Now, let me take off this last 10 millimeter right here, and we'll take a look underneath the shield there. So this one for sure was leaking, as you can tell by the signs of this one. Just super was not sealing at all. So it's got to look like, if it looks like this, that means it's sealing. This one had a little bit of a leak there, but this one completely was shooting out. Clean up the block there, but look how black that is. So that one, the back was sealing pretty good. You can tell it wasn't leaking at all. It's nice, clean mating surface. This one, not too bad. Maybe had a little leak there, but this one was not sealing at all. Completely just suited all the way around, black. You can even tell it was even burning up, shooting out toward the spark plug there, boot there. It's all black and nasty, and all this is black. So it definitely was leaking from this first one for sure. So we'll get that cleaned up. Make sure the surface is nice and clean before we put the new gasket on. Amazon's still not here, but let's take off this shield here, protective shield, and we're going to make sure we don't see any cracks, which we don't, which is good. Usually you'll see like a spider crack here, along here on the bends, but this one looks good. Maybe even get a flat edge to make sure this is not warped. Make sure the mating surface is not warped. Definitely want to make sure that that is flat before we put this back on as well. That could also cause some issues as far as not sealing properly. But so far so good. I do have actually, with some really good success, with some of that copper gasket maker. I might have, yeah, I do have some, look. Right here. So I might even use some of this with the new gasket, just to make sure that it gets the proper seal. And, you know, let it sit overnight. And then we can start it back up in the morning. And just make sure that this sets overnight. I don't know sure if it's got about 24 hours before it fully cures. So yeah, man, I got time. Like I said, the customer doesn't have to have this vehicle back for like a week. He did want me to just make sure that the exhaust is completely fixed. It was super loud. So yeah, I'll probably use this as well with the new gasket. Go ahead and clean up the surfaces, and then we'll put this side by side together. Well, I can obviously, and of course, pulling the boots off. Needs new wires as well now. Alright, got the header cleaned up. Now I'm using this kind of an abrasive wheel, but you know, I'm not taking off any metal, just making sure that we're just cleaning off all the surface rust and whatever contaminants are on top of the manifold here. And then for the block, we'll use this little saw bristle. Alright guys, just got the passenger side header out. And looks like it's just a little bit more of the same like the one in the front, or at least on the driver's side. The front exhaust runner here was definitely leaking quite a bit. The one in the middle was sealing pretty good. And we had a little bit of a leak on the rear one as well. So yeah, these gaskets here definitely trash. Like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and clean up these headers and make sure that they're nice and true and flat before we put these back in. I already validated there's no cracks on the header. I'm gonna be cleaning up the cylinder head. Make sure that surface is nice and clean before we get the new gaskets on here. And yeah, put it all back together. And on the passenger side is a little bit you got two heater hoses here in the way, but they're pretty flexible and they're not really in the way, so not hard, so nothing crazy. So like I said, I'm gonna clean it up like the passenger side or like the driver's side. The cylinder head here, just gonna clean it up nice and clean. All right, just got back from AutoZone, picked up some new wires that I needed, and waiting on Amazon still. Oh, look. Just what we're waiting for. Alright, so as far as the copper gasket stuff, I'm just going to put it on the actual header itself, just around where the gasket's in the mate and where to blow by it. You don't need to put it anywhere, obviously, in here, because there's no point. I mean, it's not going to leak from here. If it's going to leak anywhere, it's going to be around the actual manifold holes here. So I'll put them on there for now, and then the gasket itself, where did I put it? It only goes on one way. It is a two-piece. There's metal, and then like this composite on the back side. So the composite is going to stick to here, like so, and then the actual, put it on there for now. It'll go on like this, basically, and then we can put this on the vehicle. All right. It's officially nighttime, but got it all back together. Everything's buttoned up, and I'm just gonna let it sit overnight, and we'll start it up in the morning. Let that all right, good morning guys. It is officially the next day. It's actually around noon, but that gave me enough time for the copper gasket to kind of cure overnight. So I'm gonna go ahead and fire this thing up, and hopefully this thing sounds quiet as can be. Which it should, because like I said, those gaskets were basically blown out. So this thing should sound 1,000 times better. I'm gonna go ahead and put the camera down here on the fender. Hopefully this does not fall when I start this up. Oh yeah, that thing sounds 1,000 times better. And that sounds like it should. Zero exhaust leaks. Customers will be happy. Now, like I said, I spent about $12 on the gaskets. They were on sale. The silicone or the gasket maker cost me another $12. And I didn't have to buy new spark plug wires because, like I said, the ones that it had on there were damaged. I did not have to remove the spark plugs. I just removed the wires. The wires cost me $40. All in all, around $70 to do the whole job. Not bad. Took basically half a day's work. Would have been a lot faster if Amazon would have came sooner. But anyways, customers were happy. Car sounds nice and quiet. If you have any questions about today's video, please put in the comments down below. Like I said, I'll link out all the products down below. If you're interested in picking some of these up yourself, please like, please subscribe. See you guys on the next one.